Good afternoon, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. Wanted to update you on what's going on with Tropical Depression 9. Unfortunately, for simplistic reasons here, and simplicity overall, it's still a tropical depression. Doesn't quite hold the same weight, perhaps, as a tropical storm, but technicalities are technicalities, and it still hasn't become organized enough to be classified as a tropical storm. That being said, the current information, if we look at the public advisory, we now have a hurricane watch in effect from the Florida Gulf Coast near the Anclote River to Indian Pass, with a tropical storm watch in effect for the Florida Gulf Coast west of the Indian Pass area to the Walton Bay County line. So we now have a hurricane watch in effect. How could that be, even though this is still a tropical depression? Winds at 35 miles per hour, 24.4, 87.3, pressure is 1,004. Well, looking at the latest satellite imagery, let's go to that. You can see this is really starting to get its act together, a much better defined circulation with it. I'll show you that as we pull up the visible animation of this system in the Gulf of Mexico. Remember, it's sitting over very warm sea surface temperatures and upper ocean heat content, allowing it to develop if the upper environment will only cooperate. And it looks like here in the last few frames, things are starting to come together. As these load up, there it is. You can see this definitive swirl right here. But the aircraft, the reconnaissance plane flying through this area, not able to find tropical storm force winds yet. But you notice the overall structure of it is much more tight and bundled. It's starting to look like a tropical storm should. And it's only a matter of time. Some of these explosively developing cumulonimbus towers or convection going to aid in that process. And this should be a tropical storm by later tonight. The forecast map for this system over the next few days, some interesting developments. Closer and closer now to the North Carolina and South Carolina coastlines. South Carolina first as it passes off into the Atlantic. Going to be interesting to see some bends maybe back towards the mid-Atlantic or northeast. I showed you this on the discussion earlier today from the GFS. This pink area that I'm going to highlight in yellow, this is the hurricane watch area, and you notice the track has shifted more towards the north and west into the Big Bend area, right into Appalachia Bay, and that would put a significant storm surge, several feet, into that corner of the Gulf of Mexico. This is something to take very seriously. Some of the computer modeling indicating that this may in fact approach hurricane intensity. I cannot emphasize this enough. Intensity forecasting is where the least amount of skill is with forecasting of tropical cyclones, and so you need to be paying attention to this over the next few days, not only down here along the Florida coast, but in interior portions of Florida along the I-10 corridor, up through I-95 and points east in Georgia, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, maybe Wilmington. We'll have to see. This is not over once it makes landfall in Florida, not by a long shot, and we might be dealing with a hurricane. All right, again, I am leaving tomorrow morning for Florida to set up some equipment. I will be posting that information on HurricaneTrack.com and, of course, to our app, Hurricane Impact, 2 words, search for it on the App Store. And all along there, I'll be able to post information, video clips, etc., and streaming live video from my vehicle cam, giving you on-site information plus an unprecedented technological achievement here to be able to place these unmanned cameras that we have that are almost the size of lunch boxes, the whole unit, the batteries and everything, and you being able to watch and hear the effects as this comes into the northeast Gulf of Mexico and affects the Gulf Coast of Florida. All of that part of my game plan as I head down there starting tomorrow, and I'll have everything up and running by early Thursday morning. All right? So that is it for me for this afternoon and evening. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com. Thanks for tuning in. I'll have one more video post for you tomorrow, and then it's time to hit the road.